Now at noon, Hurricane Dorian continues to strengthen in the Atlantic as it heads toward the East Coast.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at noon.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Mark Kane. Thanks for tuning in to News 3 Now on this Friday afternoon, the beginning of the big Labor Day weekend. How's the weather going to be? Let's check in with meteorologist Chris Reese. He's over in the Weather Center.
Hey, good afternoon, Mark. Things have been fairly pleasant for us as we've gone through Friday, and I think for the most part, we're going to see nice weather as we go through your holiday weekend. There might be one little chance of some showers that we'll touch on, especially as we get you towards Maine weather. That was a live look outside. You see some of the high cloud cover out there. A lot of that's associated with some thicker cloud cover just down towards the south, though there's not a lot of rainfall associated with that. The rainfall was this cluster of showers and thunderstorms that rumbled through parts of Kansas and Missouri earlier on this morning. That has since fallen apart, so we've got clear skies out there. 67 degrees, winds out of the north and northwest at about 9 miles per hour. And we did have a cold front move through yesterday. It didn't have a lot to show for itself, but check it out. Temperatures are substantially colder now than 24 hours ago. We're still at 67. Same for the Dells, 68 as you work your way over towards Camp Douglas. And we'll see these temperatures warm up a couple more degrees. In fact, we are looking at highs right around 71 or so. Some folks will be upwards towards 72, 73, give or take a couple more degrees from there. But for the most part, look for pleasant weather this afternoon. When we get towards Maine weather, Mark, we're going to be tracking Hurricane Dorian and what could likely be a large impact on the eastern seaboard. I know a lot of folks have those last-minute Labor Day vacations. They want to get in before everyone goes back to school, so we'll let you know what's going on with that.
All right, Hurricane Dorian, in fact, is slowing down. It's our top story today, which means it is gaining strength. And it also has Florida in its crosshairs. Nicole Killian is in Cocoa Beach, where residents are scrambling to get ready.
It's hard to say exactly where Hurricane Dorian will make landfall. Forecasters say the powerful storm is going to hit along Florida's Atlantic coast Monday or Tuesday. For now, most people are staying put, including Keena Williams.
We have a generator and stuff like that, so I feel like we're all set and stuff.
So you're going to ride it out?
Yes, ma'am.
The path that I'm looking at, we're not right near the eye wall at all, so I'm not that concerned as far as that impact.
With Dorian inching closer, people are stocking up. Lines are long for sandbags and gas.
I had to have a tank of gas, so I just want to make sure I top it off.
Stores are quickly running out of necessities.
I've never seen anything like this.
Well, my plan was to buy a couple of cases of water, but when I looked around the corner and the line is out to the back, past the gas station, there's no way I'm waiting in this line.
Forecasters say Dorian could be a dangerous Cat 4 hurricane by the time it makes landfall. That would make it the most powerful storm to hit Florida's east coast since Andrew did 27 years ago.
This is potentially a multi-day event where it will churn slowly across the state.
President Trump canceled his weekend trip to Poland to monitor the situation. He posted a video on Twitter last night warning Floridians the storm could be what he called an absolute monster.
We're ready. We have the best people in the world ready, and they're going to help you.
Ahead of the storm, the U.S. military is moving more than a dozen planes out of harm's way, while the National Guard is mobilizing about 2,000 troops today and even more tomorrow. Nicole Killian, CBS News, Cocoa Beach, Florida.
And state officials are urging Floridians to have at least a week of food and water on hand. The executive director of a popular after-school program in Madison is on leave this morning. The decision came after Madison schools learned he is facing charges on multiple counts of possessing child pornography. 44-year-old Jacob Tissue was booked into the Dane County Jail last night. A spokesperson for the Madison Metropolitan School District said they put Tissue on leave as soon as they learned about the arrest. The district released a statement saying, quote, "As educators, we take the well-being and safety of our students as priority number one. District officials say the news was difficult for them to grasp, and they'll continue to work with law enforcement and take action based on the criminal process. Tissue will remain on leave until the outcome of that process. In the meantime, Janet Dyer will take over as acting MSCR director. MSCR has served as the public recreation provider for Madison since 1926 and works with the school district for a variety of programs and services for all ages. McFarland police are asking anyone with information related to this case to contact them. We have everything you need to know on channel3000.com. Madison police say they are investigating a burglary on the east side around 3:30 this morning. The owner of the Fast Track gas station was alerted of a burglary by an alarm. Products were scattered around the store and some cigarettes and cash stolen. The investigation is ongoing. And Madison police say around 4 o'clock this morning, furniture was set on fire in the middle of the street. In the 500 block of Mifflin Street, the fire department was able to put out the fire before it spread. Arson investigation is ongoing. The amount of people living in tents under an overpass in downtown Milwaukee has local officials concerned. Homeless advocates say there are about 50 to 60 people living in the camp under Interstate 794, and the number's growing. Officials with the Milwaukee County Housing Division say they are working to get everyone off the street before winter. So far, they've been able to move 15 people into permanent housing. President Trump's personal assistant, whose desk is just outside the Oval Office, has abruptly resigned amid accusations of leaking information to the media. Madeleine Westerhout turned in her notice last night and won't be back at the White House after she reportedly leaked information to the media. Sources tell CBS News Westerhout attended an off-the-record dinner with reporters in New Jersey during the president's recent vacation. There, she allegedly disclosed private details about the president's family and gossiped about TV news personalities seeking access to the president. If you're filling up the tank as you head out for your Labor Day weekend plans, it'll be cheaper this weekend than it's been for the past couple of years. AAA says nationally gas prices are around 25 cents lower than they were this time last year and 5 cents lower than 2 years ago. It's also true here in the Madison area, where a gallon is averaging about $2.51 a gallon this morning. A year ago, you were paying close to $2.76 a gallon. There's more to come on News 3 Now at noon. I'm next to see what Howard's working on in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Are you ready for a creamy mac and cheese that's smoking good? If you are, today's your lucky day. The other day, I went to this little barbecue joint and got a side of mac and cheese to go with my pulled pork. I know, that alone sounds amazing. But what made it really great was the fact that the mac and cheese was smoked right alongside the pork. Since we all don't have smokers, we came up with a version that's, well, you'll have to try it to appreciate how smoky good it is. We start by cooking some macaroni according to the package directions and draining it really well. While this drains, we add some flour to melted butter and let that cook until it's golden. Then we slowly stir in some milk. Once it starts to thicken up, we take it off the heat and stir in some cream cheese along with a bit of salt and pepper. Next, we pour this over our pasta that we mix with some shredded cheddar, smoked Gouda, and a good amount of Parmesan cheese. Now, if you have a smoker, spoon this into a foil pan and in it goes. Otherwise, you can bake it in a 9x13 pan right in your oven. Either way, right before serving it, add a little more cheese on top. Creamy? Yes. Smoky? You bet. Thanks to the Gouda and the smoker. To get the recipe for our 4-cheese smoked macaroni and cheese, all you have to do is visit our website. I'm Howard with Kelly in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a smoking good way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
All right, Howard, thank you. The holiday weekend is upon us. What can we expect weather-wise? Meteorologist Chris Reese is standing by with your full weekend forecast when News 3 Now at noon continues. Our Call for Action phone bank is open right now, ready to take on your consumer issues. You can call our hotline. Volunteers will help you with any consumer complaints. The number is 608-270-2833. The service is open every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday between 11 and 1. Well, home buying hits a hurdle, and Fitbit wants to count subscribers. Mark Liverman has those stories and more in today's Money Watch report.
Global
Global stocks rose Friday on hopes U.S.-China talks set for next month will make progress toward ending the tariff war between the world's two largest economies. Investors were encouraged by a Chinese government statement that its penalties on U.S. products are adequate. This could point to a pause in the tit-for-tat cycle of tariff hikes. Fewer Americans signed contracts to buy homes in July. That's a signal the housing market has yet to enjoy a strong bounce from lower mortgage rates. The National Association of Realtors said pending home sales index fell 2.5% in July. The index has slipped 0.3% from a year ago as uncertainty increases over the health of the economy. New Yorkers might have to say goodbye to foie gras if proposed legislation to ban the sale of the controversial French delicacy moves ahead. The product comes from a duck or a goose and translates to fatty liver, which is a staple at many of New York's top restaurants. Critics say the process of overfeeding ducks and geese through a pipe to expand their livers up to 10 times the normal size is cruel. And fitness tracker Fitbit is taking a trick out of Apple's book, introducing Fitbit Premium. The new subscription concept hopes to make more money off users who already paid for a Fitbit. For $10 a month, the tracker will analyze your activity and come up with healthy programs. The old Fitbit focused more on counting your steps. And that's your CBS Money Watch report. For more, head to cbsmoneywatch.com. At the New York Stock Exchange, I'm Mark Liverman.
Mark, thank you. It's been a rocky morning on Wall Street. At the noon hour, the Dow Industrials up 69 points, the NASDAQ down 21. The S&P 500, however, up about 3.5. Q106 Farm Director Pam Yankee out of the radio barn today. So here are your farm numbers. Time now for the weather. Pretty quiet around here, but Chris Reese, the Atlantic, pretty active.
That's right. I'm tracking Hurricane Dorian right now, and the storm itself, is a pretty strong Category 2. Winds of 110 miles per hour, moving northwest at 10 miles per hour. But I think by the time we get further updates going through today, I wouldn't be surprised to see Dorian as a Category 3. And here's the deal. There's plenty of warm water. We look across the Atlantic, that magic number that you need for tropical development is 80-degree water. Well, we're looking at waters closer towards 85 degrees. This is going to act as fuel for this hurricane to strengthen as we go throughout, well, the rest of the week and into the holiday weekend. So let's put things into motion on the track of Dorian. By the time it starts to make landfall near the Bahamas, we're looking at winds sustained at 130 miles per hour, gusting towards 160. At this point, you've got a pretty decent Category 4 hurricane, but then it moves right in towards Florida, winds of 140 miles per hour, gusting towards 165, making landfall just north of the Miami-Fort Lauderdale area, and that could really impact a lot of folks on those last Labor Day weekend travel plans before the school year starts for a lot of folks, whether that be a beach vacation or even a lot of cruises that leave out of port. So this is something to keep in mind. But then once it makes landfall in Florida, folks, the threat isn't done. We're talking perhaps a multi-day, very slow-moving storm that tracks inland throughout Florida before weakening. And then while this model won't go as far out, it's very possible that we could see Dorian go back out to sea and then hug the coast going up towards the Carolinas. So this is going to be something that you're going to hear in the news for several days, and we're going to keep watching that as we go through time. As for us here, things are very quiet. Clear skies with some high clouds on the horizon. We're comfortable as well. The temperature 67 with those winds coming out of the north and northwest at about 9 miles per hour. Here's that northerly wind that's working to keep things a little bit cooler. Watertown at 68, 66 as you work your way up towards Juneau. Janesville, our friends there are at 70 right now. Our water temperatures, they are nowhere near as warm as, say, the tropical Atlantic, but nonetheless, you're looking at lake water temperatures anywhere from the mid-60s and then into the lower 70s, especially as you work your way further south. Say you're going towards Chicago and you want to hit the lake. That's where the water is just going to be a bit warmer. Some cloud cover, though, streaming in. I mentioned the high cloud cover earlier. Oddly enough, there's no showers or thunderstorms associated with this cloud cover anymore. We had some showers and thunderstorms earlier. Those moved through parts of Kansas and into Missouri, but those have fallen apart. And that's because high pressure is still in control of our weather, and I think that's going to work in our favor as we go through the weekend, even though we're going to see perhaps a very minor rain chance as we head into tomorrow. Let's time things out. Look for highs around 71 this afternoon. We'll cool down towards about 54 overnight tonight. Watch what happens, though, moving into Saturday. We start to see that cloud cover moving in into the afternoon, and then a possibility of some showers, though most of that will likely be mainly towards the south of Madison. But that's something we're going to be paying attention to going through tomorrow. We'll clear out after that, folks. Look for more sunshine as we head, say, towards Sunday and especially on Monday. Temperatures warm up towards the middle of the week, but notice overall things will be staying below average with the exception of Monday and Tuesday. As we go through the rest of the forecast, more sunshine as we get towards Labor Day. A little rain chance Tuesday along with Thursday and Friday next week. There's some good news, though, Mark. I was looking at the models just before the show, and they're trending drier with the rain chances that we have in our forecast. So maybe we'll get lucky and we'll get the chance to remove those. But September is coming in quickly and on a good note, it looks like.
Kids go back to school on Tuesday, 82, of course.
Yeah, they go back on Tuesday. One hot day.
Right. All right, Chris, thank you.
My pleasure.
Still to come at noon, imagine eating a steak, red meat that was never a living animal. Think it's science fiction? Think again, it could be on your table in the next several years. The United Nations says animal agriculture is a leading cause of greenhouse gases, and eating less meat could free up millions of acres of land. Companies are now creating real steak and real chicken without slaughtering animals. Seth Doan traveled to Israel to find out how it's made.
This truly qualifies as experimenting in the kitchen. Not the recipe, but the steak itself. We had to sign a waiver just to try it.
You've worked hard for that bite.
Aleph Farm CEO Didier Toubia explained how they're growing steak from the stem cells of cows at this laboratory near Tel Aviv.
We can produce meat more efficiently in a way which is more ethical, more sustainable, and healthier.
Environmentalists say we should be eating less meat. According to the United Nations, farming animals is one of the most dangerous sources of greenhouse gases and water pollution.
The beauty with cell-based meat is that once you've established a cell bank, you don't need the chicken anymore. So theoretically, one chicken can feed the world.
At Supermeat, CEO Ido Severe explained how they extract stem cells from chickens. Those stem cells can become any type of cell. So by tweaking the mix of proteins and amino acids, they can direct them to become whatever they need: muscle, fat, or connective tissue.
Inside, it looks very similar to sort of an artificial womb.
And Severe adds they'll be able to produce exactly the cuts of meat desired. A vegan himself, Severe thinks there's also potential for consumers who object to killing an animal.
These are very delicate portions.
Yeah, well, just to get this portion is a lot of work.
One of the many hurdles is the sci-fi aspect of all of this, and Severe hopes minds will be changed at the table, with the first lab-produced meat likely served in restaurants within a few years. And as to our taste of the future,
tastes like chicken.
It was surprisingly normal. Seth Doan, Tel Aviv.
Wow. A San Francisco company called Just Food is also developing chicken and beef grown in a lab. Chris Reese, looking at the future there, I think.
Yeah, perhaps. In the meantime, we're going to look at the weather future, and things are going to be nice as we go through the rest of this afternoon. Look for temperatures topping out into the low 70s. Saturday, we're going to see a little bit more cloud cover. Some shower chances are there, but that's going to be mainly south of us. Look for temperatures into the upper 60s for those highs. We'll warm up towards Labor Day, 80s for the start of the school year in Madison before another cold front that drops those temperatures right back into the 70s. We're looking at a fairly pleasant start to September.
All right, looking good. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you back here at 4 o'clock. In the meantime, have a great afternoon.